Hello and welcome to EcoAudit 2020 Democrats Edition. In this mini-series, we'll be looking at the environmental record of the top 5 highest polling Democrats in May of 2019. Today's episode will investigate Joe Biden. Let's begin. First off, let's go and check out a score with the League of Conservation Voters. This is a group that independently assesses the environmental record of people in Congress. Joe Biden has an 83% lifetime rating with well over 400 votes cast. His scores remained between 40% and 100% from 1993 to 2008. This trend shows that he has remained relatively consistent, and his score has generally gotten better as time has gone on. However, the score is lower than any of the other top 5 2020 candidates. Let's look at one good vote and one bad vote. First, let's talk about the good vote, which was the Clean Energy Tax Credits Bill from 2008. It was a bill intending to extend the lifetime of already existing tax credits for clean energy. As LCV puts it, this bill would have extended dozens of expired or soon-to-expire tax revisions for 1 year, including tax credits for research, investment in solar and fuel cells, and the production tax credit for wind and other renewable energy sources. The tax credits would be offset by closing various corporate loopholes. Now let's talk about a bill he voted anti-environment on. In 2002, he voted against a bill on renewable energy resources. I'll let LCV explain what that was again. In its initial form, the Senate Energy Bill contained a provision requiring the largest investor-owned electric utilities to generate at least 10% of their electricity from renewable sources by 2020. During floor consideration of the bill, Senator Jim Jeffords introduced an amendment to raise that standard from 10 to 20%, a level that the Department of Energy believes is both affordable and feasible. On March 14, 2002, the Senate defeated Jeffords' amendment by a 29-70 vote. If this bill had passed, then it would have set us on track to meet the Paris Accords and even the Green New Deal. I did some research, and right now the largest utility company in the United States is Duke Energy. Right now, only 2% of their energy generated comes from renewable energy. Another large utility in the United States is Southern Company, and their makeup is a bit better, although not by much. They get 11% of their energy from renewables. This percentage has been increasing faster than any other energy source, but it's still over 4 times less than how much energy is generated from natural gas. If Biden had voted yes on this bill, and if it had passed, then we'd be far closer to avoiding climate disaster, and the Green New Deal would be far more within reach. Alright, now let's knock off some key points. Does Biden support the Green New Deal? Yes, he said that it is, quote, a crucial framework for meeting the climate challenges we face. Surprisingly, he's recently agreed to not accept any fossil fuel money. Full credit to him there. As we were writing this script, he released his climate plan. Convenient. We're not going to go into detail with the entire plan, since that could be its own video, and also because we mostly summarized it with an Instagram post, link in the description. However, we'll go over some key points. His plan is divided into 5 sections. 1. Ensure that the United States achieves a 100% clean energy economy and reaches net zero by 2050. 2. Build a stronger, more resilient nation. 3. Rally the rest of the world to meet the threat of climate change. 4. Stand up to the abuse of power by polluters who disproportionately harm communities of color and low-income communities. 5. Fulfill our obligation to workers and communities who powered our industrial revolution and subsequent decades of economic growth. Here are some of the most important policies and plans for each section. Hit to 100% renewables by 2050, invest in biofuels, protect biodiversity, ensure polluters bear the cost of climate change, and investigate nuclear power. Encourage local leaders to pursue climate solutions. Immediately rejoin the Paris Accords, hold China accountable for their pollution, make the United States a clean energy superpower, and make climate change a national security issue. Hold polluters accountable and ensure that frontline communities are the first to benefit from climate action. Ensure that workers impacted by the energy transition are not left behind. Alright, I've been talking for quite a bit. Here's a clip of Biden talking about the effects of climate change.
More severe storms and droughts, rising sea levels, warming temperatures, shrinking snow cover and ice sheets. It's already happening. And science tells us that how we act or fail to act in the next 12 years will determine the very livability of our planet.
We've been over this on the channel before, especially in the Kamala and Beto videos. Rhetoric is nice, but action is always superior. What's that quote? Actions speak louder than words. Biden also talks about the workers of America.
You know, we're not going to forget the workers either. The workers who, through dangerous and backbreaking labor, powered our industrial rise, mined and built our arsenal of democracy, and fueled America's prosperity.
Biden decided to market his climate plan with a lot of patriotic talk about the United States and a lot of negative talk about China. Just an observation. His plan in general honestly sounds like a lot like a stripped down version of Beto's plan. Speaking of Beto's plan, you can watch our video breaking it down right here. We want to keep this video relatively short, so please go check out joebiden.com/climate, and link will be in the description. We might make a separate video detailing it if you would like us to. Let us know in the comments down below if this is something you'd be interested in. After Biden released his plan, Oil Change USA, a group completely dedicated to bringing down the empire of oil, released this statement. They start by saying that, after a weak trial balloon swiftly beaten back by a powerful movement demanding urgent action, Biden has responded by committing to take the no fossil fuel money pledge and outlining some important actions that begin to approach the levels needed to address the climate crisis. They're trying to give him credit where credit is due. However, they're critical when they say that, unfortunately, Biden's plan remains problematic in several ways, and we hope he will listen to concerns from communities and scientists in the days and weeks ahead. Reliance on unproven technical unicorns like carbon capture and storage promotes the interests of the incumbent fossil fuel industry while forestalling critical action needed to swiftly move away from fossil fuels completely. It's especially troubling to see Biden commit to doubling down on government subsidies for carbon capture and storage, given his plans call for a global ban on fossil fuel subsidies writ large. A link to their full statement is down below. In his plan, Biden mentions that he wants to go well beyond the measures taken during the Obama administration. That's good because Joseph Majut, a climate scientist at the Ecocentric Center, said that reheating the Obama administration's regulations plus Paris approach will be totally insufficient. While President Obama did fight to forge the first global emissions cutting deal to include the United States and China, his administration also oversaw the expansion of U.S. oil and gas production. Speaking of the past, the website then has a brief interlude by talking about how great Biden's policies have been in the past. It talks about how he introduced one of the first climate bills in Congress. The bill was only an amendment to another bill, and the amendment called for a task force to be assembled that would investigate how to mitigate the effects of climate change. The flashback then goes on to describe the hearings he held, how he held executives accountable, and how the Biden administration passed the single largest investment in clean energy in United States history. Not bad. If Biden is elected, then we have to make sure he actually sticks to his goals. The world's leading climate science body issued a warning in October that governments must cut global emissions by nearly half and try to remove any existing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere to keep warming from exceeding 1.5 degrees Celsius or 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit. Any point past this will wreak havoc on populations of all kinds. Extreme weather will ruin the lives of millions, and sea level rise is expected to cost $54 trillion, along with killing millions more. Peter Gleick, co-founder of California's Pacific Institute and climate scientist, phrased it perfectly when he said that there may have been a chance for modest, all-of-the-above, middle-ground climate strategies 20 years ago, but we've passed that point. Many politicians still fail to understand or accept the severity of the climate crisis or the speed with which we now have to act. A recent CNN poll found that climate change is the top issue for registered Democratic voters around the country. Biden almost certainly knows that, so keep that in mind when we look at his policies. Before we wrap it up, let's look at Biden's rhetoric before he was running for president. With all eyes on him, he's obviously going to try his best to sound good and say what his constituents want. Here's him in 2015 discussing the relationship between the private sector and the climate crisis.
And by the way, you are the indispensable partner, not government. You are. Businesses, corporate America is, our banking industry, our financial sector is, and I mean this sincerely.
No comments from me. You can make your own judgments. Continuing on, he talks about Republicans and their denial of climate change.
You know, in their heart, they know that there's gravity and climate change. Being a little facetious, but when you think about it, it's like denying gravity. But at any rate, but it's being denied for political reasons. And the denial is not a luxury for those of us responsible for governing.
I recommend you check out the full video because there's almost 40 minutes of Biden talking about climate change and the environment. If you're truly curious about his position, watch the video and you'll have a good idea of where he stands. One more clip. I think this clip summarizes his climate plan well, although it's from a video in 2015.
That although the government is not the answer, government can kickstart this. Government can bring a lot of money off the sidelines if it invests. For every dollar we invested in that act as related to infrastructure, $14 came off the sidelines. And that's government's role. It's not, it gets back to you. It's back to what you are encouraged to do if you believe there's a national consensus.
So that's how Joe Biden is doing with the environment. He supports the Green New Deal, has agreed to not take fossil fuel money, has his own comprehensive climate plan, and has a decent track record with the environment. It seems as if his previous talk about finding a middle ground has been replaced by his acceptance of science and willingness to pursue bold solutions. What do you think of his plan? Let us know in the comments down below. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at @WeAreEcocentric. Well, that's all for me. Now it's change the world. See you next week. The video was a lot shorter than I thought. I thought it'd be like 20 minutes because the script was 5 pages and a little extra. While I was walking in, a little buddy came in on me.